Magdalena Svensson studied finance at the University of Gothenburg before moving to Paris to work in private equity. She combined this with an EMBA at INSEAD and has recently joined IK Investment Partners. Welcome to Alumni Experience, Magdalena. Lots of INSEAD graduates want to work in private equity. How did you get in?
Yeah, it's really hard to get in, and I'm one of those few professionals who have a full-on private equity experience from starting from, I was almost a baby, I don't know, 23 years old when I started in the business. So today that is a difficult way. You have to be really lucky to get in so early, and the more traditional route is that you do some banking or auditing and then transfer to private equity with solid skills in accounting or strategy consultancy or something like this.
Why is private equity so popular? What's the attraction?
First of all, you work with entrepreneurs. And I guess that for someone like me, I would have loved to be an entrepreneur, but I just don't have, the skills for that. I find that others' ideas are wonderful, and I'm good at judging them and helping them to develop an existing idea, but I just am incapable of coming up with these good ideas myself. So it is extremely interesting. It's diverse. You have this networking part, finding the opportunities, making sure if it's a good idea or a bad idea. You have so you do an investment and then you sit on the board for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So you really get to develop the strategy. It's different from banking. Banking, you do a deal and that's it. Here, you really to deliver your returns. You have to develop the company and take it where, or almost where you want it to take it.
You specialise in healthcare, I think. How important as a private equity professional is it to specialise?
I think a firm does not necessarily need to specialize in one or in a few sectors, but I think on a personal level we need to specialize, because you cannot be good at that many things. And you cannot be an expert in IT if you are an expert in healthcare. Healthcare is an extremely vast sector. If you would like to have an investor on board, I guess that you would like to have someone that has knowledge about your business, that knows the competition, that knows about trends, that can help you to position your company right. And if you don't have an investor that has that deep knowledge of your sector, that investor would only provide you with the money, and you would like smart money.
You already had a thriving career in private equity. Why did you want to come and study for an EMBA at INSEAD?
I did private equity, but I did it in a very local French setting. So I worked for a small fund that belonged to the French Postal Bank, and I invested in small French companies, and there was just no connection with my international background. So I needed to make a break, to take time for myself to reflect on how to take this to a further level. I decided more to not to take a year off, because we work very hard at INSEAD and we learn a lot and you meet a lot of people. So the networking part was also a big motivator, but also to have time far away from my ordinary life. From the children, the family, and also to reflect on what's next.
How did you manage to work in private equity, study for an EMBA, and have a family at the same time?
We were in between two funds at the time, and then you had that fundraising team that was doing the large part of the job. I had a year when the investment activity was lower than in normal times. So the time was just perfect for me, because of course INSEAD for a normal private equity in a normal private equity job is impossible, because when you're working on a deal you just can't say no, now I will spend 10 days in Fontainebleau or elsewhere and the deal stop. No, then you work around the clock, weekend included, and that's the bad side of the private equity world.
Is power the key to making this work? Do you have to be quite senior?
Of course, it is about power and seniority, but I think it's more about company culture in general. In private equity, it's often small firms, and then you are extremely free to organize your time as long as you get your investments done and they perform. And then it's by definition a job where no one really knows where you are, because you should, if you do a good job, you should spend your time on the road meeting with these excellent entrepreneurs, and on my side they are anywhere across Europe, so I'm traveling a lot. And then of course I have the flexibility when I need to spend time with my children, when they need to go to the doctor, or they have an end of the year school show. I also make sure to be there.
How important is it to sometimes take a break to reflect about your career?
I think that this is one of my main learnings from INSEAD, the value of taking time off and really realizing that sometimes you have to stop and you have to think. And when you leave INSEAD, you spent 1 year managing work, studies, family. And then suddenly 1/3 or maybe 40% of your occupation is out, and you need to spare some of that time on the years going forward to have your self-time. And it can be, on my side, I started doing running when I was at INSEAD, and I continue doing that because this is my self-time. No one, I cannot be on the phone. No one can really talk to me. So I'm thinking, so it's an informal process that has to be ongoing, and of course, things are never totally clear, but then gradually they build, and then you have a clear idea. Okay, this is what I want to do next, and this is where I should be, and then it's okay. And how do I get there? And there's always a way. You have this positive attitude. There is. You always need to be lucky, but luck happens to people that are optimistic and believe that they are lucky.